What's up, Intellectual Army? Happy holidays. And I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about why are the holidays so mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and relationally challenging for so many of us. I'm going to show you a study in a minute. Blew my mind. Before I do so, I like to remind you that two books have recently come out by the serial intellectual. That would be me. And you can get these books on my website, sharing the screen with you right now. Metamorphic Dictus, you can get on Amazon in paperback and an electronic copy. The copy of BU, Encouragements for Authenticity, is free on my website. You can download the PDF or you can get a KDP version, whatever you like. Now, back to the subject at hand. Why are the holidays so mentally and emotionally and spiritually and physically, relationally challenging for so many of us? You don't believe that that's the case? Well, statistics would argue otherwise. Check out this article from the American Psychological Association, written November 30th of this year. Let's read it a little bit together. U.S. adults are feeling joyous but overwhelmed this holiday season, as nearly 9 in 10, 89%, say that concerns such as not having enough money, missing loved ones, anticipating family conflict, wow, causes them stress at this time of year. It's supposed to be happy holidays, but the opposite's happening. While nearly half of U.S. adults would describe their stress levels during the traditional U.S. holiday season between November and January as moderate, that's interesting. Moderate, supposed to be happy holidays. Shouldn't be moderate. Around 2 in 5, or 41%, said their stress increases during this time compared with other points in the year. And while stress appears to be common at this time of year, listen to this. 43% said that the stress of the holidays interferes with their ability to enjoy them. And 36% said the holidays feel like a competition. What do you guys think about that? You experiencing that? Well, I was thinking about this and talking to some friends, and I think there's at least 10 things that we may experience during the holidays that make the holidays mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and relationally challenged. Let's see if any of these ring a bell or you resonate with any of them. One of them is limitations. So limitation is the idea that I want to experience something during the holidays, but it doesn't happen. I can't make it happen. I can't make family members get along. I can't generate more income so I can do this. I can't travel, which is what I really want to do. There's these limitations we experience, and that can bring mental and emotional and spiritual and physical and relational challenges. But another one is the holidays are often a grim reminder of all of our losses, especially of loved ones. And this would be the fourth year without my mother. And some of you have just lost spouses, children. Some of you have loved ones. Some of you have recently gone through divorce, separation, all different, lost a job, had to move. I mean, maybe you got diagnosed with something. And so you're facing severe loss, and the thought of being happy holidays, that ain't so moving. Our third one is the memories, whether they're good or bad. The memories. The holidays are filled with memories, good, bad, indifferent. And those memories can challenge us mentally and emotionally and spiritually and physically. It can do stuff to us, our physical bodies. And then there's emotions that kick in, like shame. Shame's an identity-based emotion. It basically says to you, something's defective about you. Something's off. You're broken. It's not guilt. Guilt's performance. It's once you've done something bad or didn't do what you're supposed to do. Shame just sits there and just says, you're defective. That's why all this stuff is this way. This is the way it looks practically. You know why you can't give the gifts that you want to give? Because something's wrong with you. You should have been in a different place. You should. That's what shame does. And that brings mental and emotional and spiritual and physical and relational challenges. And then there's fear. Fear is a proximity-based emotion. So if you're afraid of spiders, you're not afraid until you see one. If you're afraid of heights, you're not afraid until you're up high. And so fear lurks, and whatever you're afraid of, when it gets close, like time to do whatever you need to do or to enter into what you need to enter in, all the things that the holidays bring towards us, if you've got those underlying fears, they're going to be triggered. And that could be a cause of making the holidays challenging. And then there's guilt, which is performance based. It's about shoulds and shouldn'ts and should haves and all those types of things that we all have to deal with. And if we don't have these three emotions in check, they're going to ruin us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and relationally. Then there's this ideals. We have all these ideals. We watch Hallmark movies and we see Instagram posts of all these remarkable families and all this unity and all these smiles and all these things. And then we go, what's going on in my life? Or we may be predisposed to be dreamers and just lovers of what I call relational fiction, where we imagine these things the way we want them to be, and then when they're not that way, there's this huge letdown. Not that those things are necessarily wrong, but the holidays just engender and pour gas on our ideal things and paradigms. And when we don't match up, it's tough. Then there's a time for reflections, which the holidays bring a lot of that, right? A lot of reflections. I know for me, they do. Got a lot of reflecting to do. And I do a lot of reflecting in the holiday. The Christmas music comes on, it brings back past. There's certain movies you watch during the holidays, certain traditions some of us have, certain things we eat during this time, places we go, and it just causes an extreme amount of reflectiveness. And again, a lot of that's good, but some of that stuff can be challenging. And lastly, I don't think there's another time in the year, the calendar year, especially for those of us in the West, in America, where we are more permeated, influenced than November through January. I mean, the marketing, the food, the commercials, the movies, the music, the colors, the decorations, the discounts, the sales, the hoopla. All of a sudden, you go to a store and you're like, "Why is this line so long?" Then you remember, "Oh, we're in the holidays." It's crazy. It's like restaurants. It's everywhere. It's literally unescapable, and we're influenced to greater or lesser degrees. All of us. All of these things can factor in as to why the holidays can be challenging for us. So, what can we do about it? Number one, let us not overreact. It is what it is. Number two, we should exercise our freedom to choose. A lot of you know I love to read. And if you want to read a really good book, Viktor Frankl wrote a book called Search for Meaning. He actually spent time in a concentration camp. And he is quoted and famous for a lot of things, but one of them for asserting that even in our worst times, we have the freedom to choose. We should exercise our freedom during the holidays. We are free to choose. We can't always control what we experience, but we are always in control of how we respond to it. A third way we can respond to these challenges is just to be differentiated. How come we can't hold the good parts of the holidays in one hand and the bad parts in the holiday on the other hand and know the difference and just walk down the middle? We don't have to deny or exaggerate. We don't have to pick a side, wear a jersey. We can just be. And lastly, we should just focus on what matters most. I mean, what matters most to you during the holidays? Is it that $900 gift, really? Or is it time, your most precious commodity? It really is your most precious commodity. And how you spend it, which everyone has a virtual debit card of time that they can swipe, that you're swiping every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every month, every year. What matters most to you? When we're on our deathbeds, what's really going to matter? It's relationships. So why don't we just focus on making the best of the holidays that we can. Grace and peace.